Obi's manifesto will be ready in a matter of days, I hope. Our campaigns have started already. He assured us in a recent interview that they are now working on his manifesto. Although I'm also aware, because Professor Patu Tomi already said it in another interview also, that they were already working on the manifesto and will be delivering it soon. But the following are the things to expect from Peter Obi's manifesto. And these things are very important for reasons I will also be disclosing soon. But before I tell you the things to expect in the manifesto, let me first bring video evidence. So people believe that we lied that Peter Obi did not have manifesto. And then also say that I'm happy that finally, after the much pressure we put on him, is finally coming up with one alongside the Labour Party in line with their charter of demands by workers and labor unions. So first, let's hear Mr. Peter Obi say that he had no plan for a manifesto because it's just a glossy document. As evidence to those who believed that we lied, that he had no plan for any manifesto, he was just a capitalist who wanted to use the Labour Party. I love him, and I'm also happy about these developments. I'll tell you the reason. But let's hear him first, and I'll bring you where he said his party manifesto is almost ready.
A lot of people say, yeah, Peter Obi is just always making comparisons. That what is his manifesto?
When people talk about my manifesto and my this, I have done it somewhere. I don't need to go and start putting glossy papers.
No, where's your manifesto? Where is it? Is there documents? You've done it somewhere. Okay, you've done it in Anambra State.
Simple. You know, we like glossy papers. We like these things. It's a simple thing. The country have few issues. You're not going to go. It's not rocket science. We have problem with education. Your human capital is too low. We are 152 over 158 in human development. So you have a problem with education. You're going to fix it.
How would you fix it?
Yeah?
How are you going to fix it?
Of course. Go to Anambra State. That's the typical example where we took education from 26 number 1. Is it by example or is not by listen? You have poverty problem. You need to put people out of poverty. Again, go to Anambra State, you see it.
But you're still going to give us a document because we want to see a document.
That's what I'm saying. Those who get them, we've been sending documents for 24 years. Haven't you been seeing documents at conferences for 24 years?
Documents, yeah.
So what is the delivery? I can show you thousands of documents. I'm at documents. You know, even said it. Let those who are writing documents come and say how they'll do it. Where they have money. I have practicalized it. Where I took a state from debt to no debt and savings.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. I've been listening to that. I'll bring you the next video where he said his manifesto will soon be ready. After we mounted pressure, and that is where it was coming. If there are no pressures from some of us like this, I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to take the credit alone, but if there are no such pressures, we will not have the direction we are going next. I see all of you data boys commenting that Peter Obi matter will kill you. It's your problem. I'm waiting for people who understand the reason we have to engage presidential candidates who want to serve us and why we must also have input into what they want to deliver. I'm waiting for those comments so I can engage those ones. All the data boys commenting without even understanding the purpose for this, your children. Maybe your parents are still feeding you, or you don't even understand the purpose for this. You think it's some kind of reality show. This is not Big Brother. This is Nigeria, our country. So Peter Obi, as we speak right now, is man of the moment. Why am I not talking about APC and PDP? APC, PDP, we are since done with those ones, and we have already decided we are not talking about those ones. APC failed to present candidates for the future. Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about them. All right, if they are presented Osinbajo, maybe I'll be talking about APC. PDP presents somebody who has been contesting since 1992 and who has invested a lot and wants to come and sell national assets, okay, to his friends. And he wants to recover all he has been spending since 1992. So I'm not interested in PDP as well. Okay. So I am now interested in candidates who are promising. And we must also know what they want to come and do. Things we are doing is helping to guide them. They can't do it alone. So I will appreciate comments that are logical and are connecting to the discourse itself, not all these data boys just talking something that is unconnected with. So here is where, and I'll give you analysis about this thing he just said. Okay, let's listen to where he said it's almost ready.
First subsidy, if you haven't heard it, let me repeat, it's organized crime. 50% of it is corruption. You can deal with it day one. The other 50% is for you to deal with it where you remove it, but you must offer an alternative. Another alternative is, what are you going to replace using the same resources? Nigerians are not against it, they're against removal of subsidy. But what is there that you're offering if you're going to remove it? But I said in that we will, as quickly as possible, bring in private sector investment supported by us to build refineries, modular refineries, everything that is possible, and ensure that since it's for local distribution, sell fuel to them in Naira.
I mean, are you going to codify all of this into a document? I mean, there'll be many people who may not get to read.
We're going to launch our manifesto very soon.
Right. But can you give us a breakdown of its essence and the key takeaways from it? I mean, what would you most want to convey to the public from it?
Well, for me, our manifesto is anchored on the sustainable development goals. And key that is issues I mentioned before. And that our question comes back to what it used to be. Issue rule of law, law and order, fighting corruption, making the country productive, creating jobs. You can go on and on.
But you don't have that manifesto yet, or you have it, you don't want to
Our
release
manifesto, I can say today, is 95% ready. You mentioned it here.
Very important to pause here. Remember the previous video I played, said there was no need for manifesto. Finally, now, after much pressure, criticisms, he's said that they're already working on one. I heard it earlier from Professor Patu told me that they were already working on a manifesto. Okay, but I'll tell you what to expect. Now let's continue first.
We just received from what called, because we close with labor and TUC, they have what they call Charter of Demands, which we need to bring into our manifesto and ensure that the interest, which is critical, labor interest is critical, that we bring it into our manifesto and protect them.
Right, and let me move.
So at that point, he was moving to another question. I deliberately waited for that question, that answer to finish, because some people will say, "Oh, you didn't play it finish." It's typical of many data boys who just want to distract you. Now, let me resume by answering this question. do you think he will contest without the manifesto? I played the first video where he wanted to ride on what he said initially, that, I did it in Anambra. Go to Anambra was Ismailia. And then you have to make it clear that Nigeria is not Anambra. Whatever you had as planned for Anambra was for Anambra. This is the whole country. So you must see your manifesto, because the issues besetting Anambra are unique to Anambra and may not be the same entirely with what Nigerians are facing, because there are diverse issues now. And he listened, he understood it, and then came back to say, okay, we have to do something. Now, this is where I was interested in his manifesto. I was interested because he is using Labour Party. I have followed the Labour movement to an extent, even though I wasn't a member. I remember Pat Utomi was one of those who wrote constitution for APC, and they made sure to draw social safety package and provisions into the constitution. Whether they now follow it or not is another thing. So I am quite sure that a Pat Utomi, because I was still, I remembered the days of Professor Wole Soyinka Citizens Forum. I used to attend. I attended a few times. I also attended the time they were trying to adopt, as coordinated by Pa Anthony Enahoro, the People's Constitution, when they were clamoring for convening of Sovereign National Conference. I also remember there was a time they had a program called NSF, the Nigerian Social Forum, where they were saying the slogan at the time was "Another Nigeria is possible." So these agitations have been there for long, and Pat Utomi was part of all of this. So Pat Utomi assisting with drafting a constitution for Peter Obi is interesting to me, because I am sure it's definitely going to bring up things that will enrich Peter Obi's, performance if he follows what he will give. I want to trust input of Pat Utomi. I will trust it to an extent because of what I know about it. Although I still have reservations about other people in the party with Peter Obi, but I can still say there are a few elements I see around him, or persons I see around him, that I can say no. If these are the ones who are giving him the guide, I can still trust the outputs. Now, Peter Obi's belief about education and delivery of essential social services, he believes so much privatization. If you listen to the last video I played, he said that the refinery thing, that he was going to invite private sector. If you listen to most of the solution Peter Obi has an article, it's always about private sector. The background these guys are coming from is enter government. All the social services being provided by government, divert them for the private. Now, my question ends is, what then will be the business of government? Yes, they want government to focus on security, protection of lives and properties, and let all provisions of essential services be given to private sector, private investors. Yes, there are definitely advantages when private sector comes in, but there are also disadvantages. Nigeria is a third world country. When we weigh these things, we want to be sure about what we are going into. It's very critical. Education, for instance, and I don't know whether I should play this to you. Education, for instance, Atiku and Obi believe. Okay, let's start here. Let's hear this first.
We don't have the money.
What is the government doing with the education? Why are they controlling education? Every state should be able to deal with their education. If you want to educate your people, we will support you, and you do that. You need to have a visionary, articulated, competent leadership to start turning around.
Okay, so Peter Obi believes that government should not even have business with education. Do not forget, Atiku shares the same manifesto that Peter Obi is also coming up with. Atiku already has license for private university. The same thing as his own master too, Obasanjo. They all already have license for private universities. ASU protests or strike festered more under Atiku and Obasanjo while they were building private universities to compete with the public institutions they were supposed to protect and fund. They were getting private licenses. So all of these people, their manifesto is privatization, privatization, privatization. So Peter Obi also coming forward to say we will privatize. What is the federal government doing with education? I don't know. See, we can like a candidate, but can we begin to probe and screen and also debate them so that when they review, when they hear from us and they review what they are coming up with, it will end up in some kind of compromise that favors both, not just the ruling class. The argument so far favors the ruling class. I have not seen the part where it feels, but my joy is coming on the Labour Party. And I want to trust the Labour Party ESCOs and members to ensure that the Charter of Demand, they really sit down and make sure that they feature in his manifesto, and those are the things to expect in the Peter Obi's manifesto. Peter Obi cannot just say because he flies economy, but can fly private jets when it's convenient. He flies economy, and people will see that he flies economy, and that is what we need. Or that he left some money in the coffers of Anambra State government, even while doctors were going on strike for 36 months. Or that he did. So those are not enough. Yes, he's a good man. He doesn't want to waste funds. He is a good man. He wants quality for people. But the questions are, one, and I want Labour members who may be listening to this broadcast to please sit down on this. Minimum wage. If you privatize education, how much are they paying in Atiku's university? Most of these people who are in the ruling class today, how much did they pay for education in their time? Because free education, subsidized education worked for them. Most of them were able to go to school. We have still not yet crossed that stage where civil servants, public workers, for instance, who are still being paid 30,000 minimum wage, can afford private university fees or tuition. So say you want to answer for education, even where it is moribund right now, and allow private investors go in, 30,000 minimum wage cannot even buy bag of rice for a family for a month, buy fuel, buy oil, pepper, everything they need, pay for their transportation, lights, everything, let alone add education. Then you now want to hands off and say let whoever can afford education go for education. So these are things we must really sit down first and be sure we know what we want to enter before we say, yes, this is the man. Yes, he's the man. But the idea is coming with, we can't allow it all sale at his convenience. We must make sure we submit or tender what the provisions are. And I love what he said about fuel subsidy. Even when you are removing fuel subsidy, what are you using to replace it? I love his submission at that point. I'm not interested in who wins. I'm interested in what are they bringing? What are they saying? So if you want to answer of education, Peter Obi, what are you providing so that people who are still at minimum wage level can afford whatever, wherever you are handing education off to at private sector? So when you look at all these things, you must be able to come up with something that people will say, yes, he's doing away with the old method, but he's replacing with something better. Are you increasing minimum wage? What are the contents of this? I'm going to bring another person up very soon, okay? So that we can listen to what are the contents in this charter of demands at the Labour Party level. And how are these things going to help to enrich Peter Obi's manifesto? And is he agreeing to them, to these things? Privatization, deregulation are policies that have been fought headlong since Obasanjo time. Because a lot of people believe these are not friendly policies or ideas. But these are the things Peter Obi is coming up with. If it will favor the masses, I'm not against it. But are we analyzing how will it favor? If you hands off education as government and you stop subsidizing it so that poor people can afford it, then what other alternatives are you making for the poor people? Because even Peter Obi himself agrees. Millions of children are out of school because they can't even afford. He agrees. Peter Obi has statistics of how many unemployed people we have and people in poverty circle, within the poverty level. Millions of people. If government does not want to fund education, what does government want to fund? So that we can be clear before following. We want to be clear. Because if we can't be clear about this, at the end of the day, if you can't be clear about this at the end of the day, then we might as well just say Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu, they represent the same thing. Because we can't ask questions. But I'm happy Obi is answering the questions. And I'm also happy he is in Labour Party. So that the Labour, the workers' union, the management, the ESCOs, unionists can present in the charter of demand and say, yes, you are our candidate. But the idea you are coming with, how can we marry them? How can we harmonize your own privatization and capitalist idea? Even if the charter of demands has to be compromised to an extent to meet your own idea of making things, delivery of essential services better. Even if that is what we want to do, we can bend to this extent. But how much of the extent can you also bend your idea so that we can present something that everybody will welcome, at least majority of the population can welcome? Fidelis, he said he will support education. I like people like you. All the other ones talking, they are data boys, I know them. They are paid to just go on air and distract people who are talking. But I like to engage people like you. He said he will support education. The question we want to see is how. And that's exactly why I want to see the manifesto. I am using all of these things I'm doing to encourage Professor Patu Tomi and other intellectuals who are doing the manifesto for Peter Obi to make sure that these questions are well addressed in the manifesto. We want to see. And I am waiting for it. Once that is ready and presented, we will still come back and analyze it It is very important. It's not about, oh, the whole north is for Ashiwaju, half of the north is for Atiku, and 1/3 of the north is for Obi. I'm not interested in those people who don't analyze policies, but just jumping on who is better hyped or who looks fine, who dresses well, who talks gently and appealing to me. Not everybody will follow that. And they are only taking advantage of the fact that majority of Nigerians are ignorant, illiterate, and poor. So they are taking advantage of all of these things. The Melokon and PDP are only preparing to buy votes. That's what they are preparing for. But those of us who are interested not in the APC and PDP because they fail to present candidates that the future is interested in. You are interested in Obi, and you are interested in Showore. So we are looking to analyze what these two are bringing. How do you want? What are you proposing as minimum wage for workers who can't afford tuition in Covenant University, in Obasanjo's Bell University, in Atiku's University? Okay, so people who can't afford those ones, how much is government proposing to pay workers so that they can afford the school, the tuition, when Obi's government hands off education? These are the things I want to discuss, not the old Lagos is for Ashiwaju, the old Ogun is for Ashiwaju, the old Taraba is for Obi, the old this one is for that. How many Obi can't win South? What are we discussing? Obi can't win South. How many elders in Igbo land are following him? How many governors in the South are supporting him? I'm not interested in all of those. I discuss policies that affect people, not how blind people follow godly. I'm not interested, because this is how we got where we are. That's how we got to where we are. That people just followed in 2015 without asking questions. You are not asking questions. Okay, let me see. I can take maybe 1, 2, or 3 guests before I close this show. Maybe between 2 and 3. We'll manage the time. Okay, so let me just look in the comment section. Look in the comments. Join via link. I'll put the link to join in the comment section and I'll stick it. So let me entertain 2 to 3. Look at the link in the comment section and come up. While I'm waiting for the first caller, let me quickly just have this short break. I'll be right back.
Are you concerned about your electricity bills being on the rise? Does the constant power outage drive you crazy? Wait, what if I told you there was a place you could live in Nigeria where you never have to pay electricity bills ever again? A home where you can enjoy uninterrupted power supply, no generator noise, poisonous fumes, and all of the wahala that comes with powering your homes through generators. A home that helps you cut down the cost of living by converting your waste into renewable energy while providing you with cooking gas through a biodigester waste management put in place. Now, imagine owning a smart ready home in a prestigious beachfront estate in Lagos, where the never-ending ambience, breeze, and view of the ocean keeps you connected to nature. This and more is what the all-new super affordable Quantum Brick Estate offers. Quantum Brick Estate Phase 2, Lakwe Beachfront, Lagos, is Nigeria's first 100% hybrid renewable green energy off-grid estate, built with laterite bricks which have been proven to be 10 times stronger and more durable than regular cement blocks. Laterite bricks are fireproof, soundproof, and bulletproof, hence providing extra security to lives and property within the estate. So, what are you waiting for when you can get a 3-bedroom terrace starting from 40 million naira only, and a 4 bedroom semi-detached starting from 48 million naira only via our ongoing off-plan sales. All of our homes come fully finished and furnished with inclusion of appliances such as gas cooker, refrigerator, microwave oven, washing machine, extractor, to mention a few. All the facilities include ball court, swimming pool, children playground, fitness gym, fire alarm, hydrants and extinguishers, and a fire truck within the estate. CCTV and 24/7 security guards, estate clinic and ambulances on standby, grocery store, centralized water treatment reservoir, and many more. Secure a home out of the ordinary in Nigeria's first 100% hybrid renewable green energy off-grid estate, now selling out fast. For inquiries and further details or to schedule a site inspection, please visit our website on bayhomes.com or call or send a WhatsApp message to 08065582739 for more details. Quantum Brick S product of Happy Homes. Live green, live well, preserve nature.
All right, so I have Olu as my first caller this morning. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, she go out far now.
I do. I know say you can't yab me over Peter B now.
No,
So
why go yab you?
your time starts now.
Right. No, I know the yab you, even though I would, if I have the chance, I'll vote for him. Because you've only got 3 people going. I don't see Showore as anybody that stand a chance at all. We are not there yet, like I said to you last time I was on your show. So we need to deal with the 3 people. The questions you are asking, they are very, very valid questions. What are you going to do with education? How are you going to achieve it? Is a very, very, very important question. The only thing I like about him is, right, Anambra was so on the scale. When I got there, I did this, all the senior prefects, they have my direct number to see how things are going. I'm monitoring myself. I gave all the schools so to encourage people, laptops. You tell us equipment, educational equipment, a monument for the teachers. You tell us how you want to do it. And that's what you are asking, which is a very, very important question. You can't just tell us, I would make it happen. How? How would you make it happen? So it's a good question, and I believe that what you're doing is really good. Putting them on their toes and making sure it's in UK presently. Last Friday, the new Prime Minister made a big cut to income tax and other taxes, and immediately our pounds went down. Even in his own party, they already clamoring that you have to reverse that, because if you don't, the economy will continue to go down. So these are the things. There are indicators that you need to talked about that is going to improve people. You are going to create job in what sector? If it's agriculture, what do you intend to do? In Ekiti State, sir, Segun Oni, in his illegitimate governor at that time, 3 years, if you remember, before Fayemi came through the court, Segun Oni went to South Africa to bring some breeds of cattle to Ekiti. Wọ́n pa á jẹ lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni. Àwọn èèyàn wa ní Segun Oni kọ́ ló pa á jẹ o. Àwọn èèyàn tó ń bá ṣiṣẹ́ wọ́n pa á jẹ lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Eléyìí tí ní problem, wọn ò ní fún lábẹ́rẹ́ tó yẹ kán fún. Wọ́n dẹ̀ bẹ̀ sí jẹ́. So you need to tell us that if you are going to invest in agric, it's going to be private people, because only Nigerians only. You are going to you bring investors in that will monitor their business, and you sign the deal that it's like here, EDF supplies my house gas and electric. The government gave EDF money here so that they can continue to employ UK citizens to provide job for us. You can do that as well. So if you bring somebody in agric, don't go and make it public place. Now, do you
know that my interest here is one, is in a Labour Party where concern for workers is supposed to be high or priority.
Yeah.
I haven't heard how much is proposing to pay workers.
Yeah.
In an economy that we're currently running, where people can barely afford to feed. I haven't also heard his plan about what he's going to do if he hands off education. He only said he will do something they will support. So when I hear these things, number one, I'm interested. Number two, I also want to hear the solutions. I'm interested in, yes, if he hands off. If government hands off, maybe not a bad idea, because private sectors can come in and make things better. But they may also be exploiting people. Private universities are in Nigeria. Are their tuitions regulated? So that is exactly part of the reason government has such businesses, having their own institutions where people who cannot afford can go and government subsidizes for them. Education is an essential social service. But I've heard him saying he's going to federal government has no business with education. So I'm worried. Do you understand me now?
I pitch my tent with you there. You know, we should be worried about that. You know, like it comes to the question of, you know, how do you want to do these things? Are they achievable? You know, it's a very big thing, isn't it? If you go for an interview, Shegun, and they ask you, I don't know your what field are you? I don't know your field. My field, I'm a CPN, and if I'm going for a job,
sorry, Mr. Olu, Pastor Charles, are you there? Can you hear me, Pastor Charles? I cannot hear you. If you can hear me, Pastor Charles, please work on your microphone. Let's try to say something. Let's hear you, please. Okay, so please continue, Mr. Olu.
Yeah. So if you ask me, you know, you put on your CV that you can, that you can run a clinic, for example. So I can run, you know, I'm giving let's say COVID vaccine. I put it on my CV that I can run that clinic, and then they ask me, well, you know, you tell us you can do this. My answer would be, in 2020 during the pandemic, I was at social center running a clinic, and I did it successfully. This is how we did it. So that's the only thing I like about Obi, when he goes back to Anambra and say, in so time when I was there, I moved Anambra from here to here by doing this. That is very important. That's the only thing I like about him. Thank you.
All right. So having said that, sorry, I'm trying to bring another person in. Hello, Smart Money. Can you hear me? Smart Money, hear me? I guess people haven't really figured to have their microphone work. So now, yes, you are right that he did it in Anambra, but you know that Ashiwaju too is saying, in fact, saying better. Other governors also have similar record. If you go to LASU, if you go to state institutions owned by others too, they will say the same thing. But this is not state. He is saying he will even hands off education at this point if he becomes president. But Obi is saying, I don't know if you saw when I played that video, he said federal government has no business. So at that point, it becomes some kind of a red flag, like or something to worry about. Like, you want government to hands off, even right now when government has not even yet hands off. I know the literacy level everywhere. We are surrounded by, you know, you lived in Nigeria before, you know, so you know. So imagine government hands off.
That'll be I think that I know what you're saying. It's I know there are state universities, and I know there are federal ones, but you cannot hands off. I think if you hands off, it's a red flag for anybody. Ain't it? You know, if you say, I'm going to hands off. You know, I don't know what he was saying. I did saw the video a little bit. Like the first one you played, when he was saying something about I don't need a manifesto. If I would interpret that, I would say he was only saying, for the past 20-something years, there's always something written for us, and nobody implements fuck all. Yeah. So I think he's more of saying that, but he's not a good communicator in that sense, at that scenario. And I know nobody will come and contest for our president that won't have something written. Is he mad? It's not going to happen. But I think he was just
But I'm happy he's
insinuating that.
finally come out to say yes, something is coming. I'm fine. I'm happy
Yeah,
he's finally come
definitely.
out to say something is cooking.
I'm interested to read that. I'm very, very
Yes, I
interested
want
to
to
read
see.
that.
Do you know why I'm more interested? I'm more interested because I want to see how they marry the charter of demands of the labor force with its
Yeah,
own capitalist idea of privatization.
I do.
I want to see how they marry it. I want to see the compromises. So that's exactly
Yeah.
what I want to really see, is because we are all interested. He is interested in
Oh.
efficiency. We are interested in social welfare for those who may not be able to afford what to. Of course, if you go to Covenant University, you have good education, right? If you go to Bells, if you go to all the private universities, but the question is affordability.
Afe Babalola.
Afe Babalola in Ado.
Did
I
you know
that.
something, Shegun? Are you aware that in Afe Babalola, if you school there, you are not allowed to have a cigarette. You are not allowed to have any recreation drugs or alcohol. If you do, you'll be put in seclusion and you are going to pay for rehab right in that school. And it's a tertiary institution where you are bringing up, young adults or adults that cannot manage to have drink if they want to mingle if they want to. They cannot even befriend each other. How mad is that?
That's
How mad is that?
kind of a slave camp, man.
Honestly, I was somebody spoke to me there and he was mentioning put him in rehab. Said putting a student in rehab. Is that a university? He said yes. Really? The person
No,
that
I will
understand.
I will understand if the person is addicted and it's already going to affect the person. I will understand rehab for such person, but not allowing it such freedom at all. I don't know.
Anyway,
I think the same
sorry
applies at
for
Covenant
that. Anyway.
University. I think the same applies at Covenant University also. Most of these private institutions. So, but at the end of the day, if they finish from those private institutions, will they be able to allow to proceed to NYC? And will there be no freedom there?
They will have this freedom. I'm just thinking about what kind of education you put into somebody's head when they cannot even, make their own choices, things like that. But
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Pastor Charles, I'm struggling to hear you. Pastor Charles, can you hear me? Oh wow, I'm sure that's something to contribute. Okay. Let me keep him there while he's still struggling with the microphone. I'm sure he has something to contribute. Let me see some of the comments I missed. I hope my mic is working better now. Somebody said earlier that the sound was breaking. So Nigerian politicians have become so lazy and arrogant because nobody asks the credible questions. How? When? That's exactly what we want to start doing. It is no longer going to be about people like the way I dress, people like the way I look simple, people like the way I talk, people like my... It's not going to be about that. Buhari did all of those in 2015. Going forward, there are going to be more watchdogs. It's not about whether we like you. We want to hear how you accommodate the people who are really even following. Buhari was popular in the north, so much that nobody could match him figure for figure. So popular, but he eventually won after a coalition that formed APC. He eventually won, but the question is, the poor Almajiris who used to follow him, who gave him all the millions of votes, what has changed about them? What has changed? So that's exactly why we are interested. So I'm interested in intellectual obedience, intellectual Baptists, intellectual articulates. We must begin to debate each candidate, especially as campaigns are now on, each candidate's program, manifesto, policy about each sector. What are you proposing about this problem? What are you proposing about that problem? What are you proposing about? So, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, look at this. Thank you, Paul Ruiz, for bringing this up. Does the Constitution even allow you to transfer education to states? But when you have, if you allow the country to grow or to bring a president who will be autocratic, who can do and do because he's popular and people like him, he will just ignore the Constitution altogether. Pastor Charles, can you hear me now? Oh my. So we are not going to allow that going forward, gentlemen and ladies, and that's exactly the message I've come to pass today. I've listened to all of them. I'm going to bring up somebody maybe later tonight or some other time. Pastor Charles, you're already here, but I can't hear you. Check. Let me message him privately. Check your mic if it is enabled. And Pastor Charles, if you can hear me, in case you're using maybe AirPod or something, use your phone directly, your direct phone mic, and let's see whether we can do this before I go off air. So I'm going to bring somebody up, if not tonight, maybe another time. We are going to talk about the Charter of Demand by the labor movement and how they are compromising it or harmonizing it with the idea that will be brought in to the party, because he's using the Labour Party. If you know what he means, so that's exactly where we're going. So well, because the battery is almost draining off on my system, we don't have electricity in Nigeria. Using solar, and sun has not been really shining these days because of it's not been sunny because of the season we are into. So I'm going to go off now. Just listen to this important message. Don't say you didn't hear. The slots are filling out fast. I'm playing this video for you. Don't go and blow that money in the club. Even if you don't want to live in this apartment for now, buy it, and because apartments that are not even this quality are already renting for over 20 million per annum without anything in them, without appliances, without electricity. You have to still pay for electricity, but this one you are not paying for electricity for life, and our appliances are pre-installed. It's also built with stronger bricks with quality and all of that. So listen to this information. It is still cheap now, because, and it's also at the future of investment hub in West Africa presently, the in place right now where it happen. So if you get this much, you're not paying at once. You can be paying while you're monitoring the progress until it is ready. Here now, here what do?
Are you concerned about your electricity bills being on the rise? Does the constant power outage drive you crazy? Wait, what if I told you there was a place you could live in Nigeria where you never have to pay electricity bills ever again? A home where you can enjoy uninterrupted power supply, no generator noise, poisonous fumes, and all of the wahala that comes with powering your homes through generators. A home that helps you cut down the cost of living by converting your waste into renewable energy, providing you with cooking gas through a biodigester waste management system put in place. Now, imagine owning a smart ready home in a prestigious beachfront estate in Lagos, where the never-ending ambience, breeze, and view of the ocean keeps you connected to nature. This and more is what the all-new super affordable Quantum Brick Estate offers. Quantum Brick Estate 2 Lakwe Beachfront, Lagos is Nigeria's first 100% hybrid renewable green energy off-grid estate, built with laterite bricks which have been proven to be 10 times stronger and more durable than regular cement blocks. Laterite bricks are fireproof, soundproof, and bulletproof, hence providing extra security to land and property within the estate. So, what are you waiting for when you can get a 3-bedroom terrace starting from 40 million naira only, and a 4-bedroom semi-detached starting from 48 million naira only via our ongoing off-plan sales? All of our homes come fully finished and furnished with inclusion of appliances such as gas cooker, refrigerator, microwave oven, washing machine, heat extractor to mention a few. Other facilities include ball court, swimming pool, children playground, fitness gym, fire alarm, hydrant and extinguishers, and a fire truck within the CCTV and 24/7 security guards, estate clinic and ambulances on standby, grocery store, centralized water treatment reservoir, and many more. Secure a home out of the ordinary in Nigeria's first 100% hybrid renewable green energy off-grid estate, now selling out fast. For inquiries and photos or to schedule a site inspection, please visit our website on happyhomes.com or call or send a WhatsApp message to 0806 558 2739 for more details. Quantum Brick Estate, a product of Happy Home. Live green, live well, preserve nature.